what is it like taking, you're in the midst of your tour right now, which is
Yeah,
amazing. You take your dogs, you take your six kids, you take Lainey with you. Take me through that. What is this tour bus like?
it is absolutely jam-packed. This past weekend, we actually had the in-laws on the bus with us.
Oh, wow.
So it was six kids, four dogs, two bus drivers, and my mother and father-in-law. I don't know how they survived, but we've got a pretty cool routine. Our life is very unique. I mean, we stay up much later than the average family because I really don't
Mhm.
start work till about 9. And
Okay, yeah.
then we're usually eating after show dinner about 11:30-ish.
Wow.
And we stay up very late. We play, we get the dogs and the kids out in empty venues after the crowd's gone, and we just run around and we get our energy out. And then we don't wake up till very late. But it is complete chaos, but it really beats being out there alone because I've done it
Yeah.
that way. And
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't afford to take everybody, prior to some big songs. And so I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it like this as long as I can, and then probably hang it up, and do something else. I don't know. We'll see. But it's
Yeah.
chaotic. But there's always somebody to hug, and there's always a
Mm-hmm.
dog to pet, and there's, my wife is there. Like we're always there together. I mean, I can literally
Yeah.
walk side stage between any song and give her a hug, and that's just
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah, it's got to be so rewarding to just constantly be surrounded by the people that you love, your dogs, your kids, your wife. That's amazing. How do you and Lainey, or do you make time for each other to have a date night on the road when you're surrounded by so many people? How do you kind of make that you time?
Yeah, honestly, we just have to tell the kids you're on your own. My kids range from 8 to 18.
Hmm.
And they know, I mean, we're we're pretty honest with them. We need some us time, and
Yeah.
so Laney and I will take a walk, go have an ice cream date. We'll just
Hmm.
hang in the green room, make them get on the bus and hang in the green room for a while. But we have to do that. And I think my kids they're merciful, and they're very forgiving and understanding, and they realize that they exist because mom and dad love each other, and
Yeah.
so they're no stranger to just me and Lenny just kind of checking out for a second and having some time together.
I love that. And did you guys just celebrate 20 years married in June?
We did. Yeah, we
Okay.
celebrated 20 years married. We've been
Yeah.
together since 1997.
That's crazy.
And anybody who's been together that long, it's funny, I know that socials and interviews like this, they depict
Mhm.
a very perfect perspective, view
Yeah.
of our life, but oh my goodness, I mean, we have been through the ringer. I mean, we
Mhm.
lost our seventh child.
I know. Oh.
I'm 9 years sober. I'm the last of nine kids. We both have our family stuff, and
Mhm.
it's in a way it's hard to describe. It's such a beautiful experience with Laney, but it has not
Yeah.
been without tough times,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
tough phases. So we're in a beautiful phase, doing the
Mhm.
doing the road together and stuff. But I always like to remind people that it is, life's hard, and
Yeah.
the more kids you have, the more dogs you have, it doesn't get any easier, but it is beautiful. It's magnificent.
Yeah. That's awesome. You kind of described it before. You go take a walk, maybe you get some ice cream. What is an ideal date night for the two of you when you're on the road? And did you celebrate 20 years with like anything on the road, or are you planning something when you're get a break?
I think we celebrated 20 years on the boat, just hanging
Okay.
out. Lainey
Mm,
loves the lake life. We live on a lake, and all of our kids love a day on the lake. But one of our favorite dates is, it's funny. I guess everybody would assume it's Applebee's, but we had a lot of Applebee's for the past few years, so
I'm
we're
sure.
taking a break on that one. But we Lainey and I just I'm sure every couple does this, but when Laney and I actually do have time to just hang, it doesn't matter if it's Chick-fil-A or in the car or what.
Hmm.
We always do that cliche of like, oh, I remember why I like you so much, and it's
Yeah.
because all the distractions are gone. The whatever the
Mhm.
work was, whatever the kids needed, the phones are put to the side. And it's always been like that. I mean, from the minute I met Lainey, we just were instant best friends. And we could let our guards down and just kind of explain how we're feeling about certain things and just share life. And so that's kind of I mean, honestly, that's ideal for us is
Yeah.
just quiet together.
That's awesome. I love how much of your family life you do share on Instagram. I've followed you for a long time and people feel like we're on tour with you. You know, it's a
Yeah.
really cool look into a life that so many of us don't have, and that's awesome. Um, we have Ball Player out right now, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Tell me a little bit about your inspiration with your music right now. It sounds like your kids and your family are a huge part of that.
They are. I mean, without a doubt, so much so that I come up with ideas and I go, another kid song, or another family song, but that's where I live right now. And
Yeah.
Ball Players is the same. I mean, when we're not on the road or prior to being on the road, I lived at the ball field. I mean, when I came
Mhm.
home from the road, prior to my recent success, I met the family at the ball field every Sunday.
Mhm.
I came home and I'm just trying to be the best dad I can on a daily basis, which means all I'm doing is failing every day and saying I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
all that means. I'm not like I don't feel like I'm improving that much. I think my kids would
Mhm.
be graceful and merciful and say that I am out of
Mhm.
pity. But yeah, I'm just doing the best I can. And ball player is somewhat of an apology, to my
Mhm.
kids, basically saying, "Hey, I know that I live vicariously through you. It's kind of hard not to do. I don't want to do it. I know it's unhealthy, but I'm a broken man.
Yeah.
When you're into something, when you succeed, I feel it. When you fail, I
Mhm.
feel it, and I want to feel it for the right reasons, and then also ball player is a reminder, just that's not all you are, and I need to hear that. I need to look in the
Yeah.
mirror every day and go, hey, you're not just a songwriter. Your worth is not whatever you write today. And you need to hear it.
Mhm.
Your
Yeah.
worth is not however good of an interview you do. And so,
Mhm.
this is something I think I need to say to my kids on a daily basis. And that's why me and my co-writers wrote it. It was four dads in a room,
Mhm.
just reliving our glory days, but then also
Yeah.
thinking, man, we could be better dads. And what do we want to say to our sons and daughters?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so relatable to write for me, especially as a mom. I have a 2 and a 3-year-old, and to hear those lyrics come out and hear that, it's like, there's someone,
Yeah.
it's very nice to have music for moms and dads too. I love it.
Well, I mean, honestly, I've noticed this broke my heart in the best way is I've seen multiple times, I've seen kids on socials tag their parents and say,
Hmm.
Dad, I love you, or Mom,
Hmm.
this reminds me of us. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really glad people can relate on all levels.
That's awesome. You mentioned being 9 years sober. Congratulations. That's obviously a huge milestone. Is it something that you still have to think about every day? Does it come easy for you at this point, or is it still something that is a challenge for you?
I'm kind of reluctant to say or hesitant to
Mhm.
ever say that it's easy. I feel like if I ever think it's easy, then it might actually be harder.
Yeah,
That's kind of a catch 22. But
true.
I am always vocal about recovery in hopes that I can find someone else to walk through it with,
Hmm.
whatever level they may be on with their battle. I can't stand loneliness,
Hmm.
personally. And
Yeah.
so the thought that my kids or someone in my family or somebody that I know might be lonely in that respect
Hmm.
regarding some struggle with addiction they're having, I want to be helpful. And by trying to be helpful, they help me,
Yeah.
by us talking about it. So it's definitely a part of my show. It's a part of my brand is my least favorite word, but it's just a part of who I am as an artist,
Yeah.
and that's how I'm going to do life, as long as I'm here is definitely be vocal about those struggles
Hmm.
and in hopes that I can help somebody and it's also therapeutic and helpful for
Yeah.
me.
Absolutely. I love that. Your kids are obviously very musical, or it appears
Yeah.
that way. They can all dance. It seems like most of them can sing. Do they all kind of want to follow in your footsteps, or it's just they're too young to even know right now?
And well, it's funny that this thing, partnering with Auto Trader. I have a 18, a 17, and a 15-year-old. They all want a car, so they're always looking. And I do not
That's what
buy.
they're thinking about.
I've not, but they're just all like, I need a vehicle. But
Hmm.
they show some interest in music. And my two little girls sing a song with me. They actually sing Ball Player and Father
Hmm.
Time with me every night. And it
Oh,
brings the
wow.
house down. And my oldest daughter dances in the show. And one of my sons, Baylor, is an exceptional drummer, but I don't really I don't really pressure them to follow in my shoes by any means. I do encourage I will say, hey, you got to get, I'm being honest with you. I know what good is and you've got it. I don't think I would ever say you need to pursue music. I think that's got to be a decision, they make on their own.
Definitely.
Because I think they'll be mad at me later when it's hard and they'll go,
Yeah.
you made me do this, Dad. And I'm like, I don't want that on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Y'all choose yourself. So you're to blame when you hate
Yeah.
it. But yeah, man, I just anything my kids are into, I'm into also. You know how it is. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
watching your kids love something is pretty special.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Even when my
yeah.
3-year-old liked Spider-Man, I got into
Oh,
it.
I know. Yeah, and you know what? That's such a good parenting move. I encourage everybody. I learned the hard way with my first son. I wanted him to do everything that I did. And
Yeah.
and and we had to mend that relationship. And I had to apologize many times for kind of wrongfully forcing him to do certain activities.
Yeah.
Now if they want to do it, I dive in and I learn. I mean, yesterday on the boat, I was doing a Rubik's Cube. I have no business doing a Rubik's Cube, but I was trying to learn the algorithm, because
Yeah.
Chapel, that's his thing. He can do it in 40 seconds. And I'm just like,
Wow.
I'm gonna catch him.
That's awesome.
So
Got to talk
good.
about Auto Trader.
Yeah.
Um, so tell me a little bit about this partnership. You're celebrating a very important day, National Dog Day with them. Tell me all about it.
We're dog freaks. I mean, in my house, if you follow me at all on my socials, it's either kids, my wife, or the dogs.
Yep.
And my kids make fun of me and my wife, Lainey. They make fun of us because they say, when we get older and they're out the house, we're just gonna have 20 plus dog. We just love them so much,
Yeah.
and oftentimes they criticize us because our concern for the dogs may supersede our concern for them as far as our dogs comfort, where they're sleeping. Our dogs constantly go with us. They're on tour with us. They're in the
Hmm.
car with us. We live about an hour and a half out of Nashville, so we're
Yeah.
we're always going back and forth. And so yeah, I'm teaming up with Auto Trader to celebrate National Dog Day. That makes total sense
Yeah.
for us and our family. And they've created an incredible playlist to keep dogs comfortable. We have
Yeah.
a variety of dogs, and they're all different. Some of them love the car and want to bounce
Hmm.
around a little too much and crawl on the dash and do things that are unsafe. And then I have some that are just very anxious and
Yeah.
scared. And so yeah, this is a beautiful partnership. I'm honored to be a part of it and happy to help people with Auto Trader celebrate their dogs.
Yeah. I love that. I have a dog myself, and she was my first baby before I had my babies, and she
Oh
still,
yeah.
sleeps in the bed with us and all
Yeah.
of that. So I love this ASMR for dogs idea. I'd never heard
Yeah.
of anything like this, so I'm excited to try it out with my own dog.